Hey guys, what's up? Episode 7?
Siete.
7. Thanks for keeping tuned in to our episodes. People are now asking me, "Oh, when's your pod coming out?" I had a lot of people asking me over the weekend as well, or even mentioning that they watched it.
That is wonderful.
Huh? Oh, 8.
Wow, we jumped the whole one, friend. Ocho. My bad. Ocho.
So episode 8. So I got a lot of love over the weekend. People talking to me about it, and I actually even have people who come in, I guess, who know me from TikTok or mention
you the lady from TikTok. That'd be the
TikTok,
funniest.
and I'm just like,
yeah, that's me.
Yeah. And I'm like scared to know, are they some of the ones who I get some crazy comments about? But on another note, it's much appreciated.
Yes.
Again, follow, subscribe.
Yes.
Our YouTube, Connie and Tyra's Diner.
Diner.
Follow, like,
share,
subscribe. It's all appreciated.
Yes, it is.
It's all love. It's all appreciated.
Absolutely.
And it's interesting to see that people like what we have to say.
Yeah, and how relatable it is. The topics that we just normally would talk about on a regular basis, not even with the camera. This is just things that we normally talk about. And also, too, even one of Justin's aides said, "Can you send me the link to you and your friend's podcast?" I was like, "Look, sure, friend."
So we're getting some movement, and it's much appreciated. And I just want for everyone to notice once again.
Go ahead.
They're not in work clothes, and they're not black.
Yes. Shout out to her. And it's like we got like similar shirts and jeans.
Black,
we didn't plan it.
No work clothes.
I'm proud of you, friend.
So I'm trying.
You're doing it.
I'm doing it.
You're doing it. And doing it well.
We didn't really know what to talk about, but I was watching this thing on what's it called? Probably TikTok, because I'm always on TikTok.
I was going to say Netflix.
Now, I'm always on TikTok because it's my downtime where I detach from reality.
And decompress.
Work is a lot. And I'll just like scroll and like watch stupid things. But anyway, so as you guys know, I'm a single mom. I've been a single mom for 14 years at this point. My kids are grown now, but for 14 years, I've been a single mom, right? And I see like parenting styles now versus parenting styles back then are very different.
Very, yes.
So I was having this conversation with someone, and this is no shade, no criticism, no nothing, but gentle parenting versus I don't know, I guess how I used to parent back in the day. Yeah, like, so then like someone was talking about would you rather be feared or loved? And I'm like,
that's a good one.
Like I said, as a single mom, like, I guess your situation is a little different because there's a man there, right? I haven't had a man in my house for 14 years, and I have a son. And my biggest thing used to be like, if my daughter's outside doing something stupid, I can go find her wherever she is and pull her out and beat her. I know.
And she didn't even curse. She whispered it.
That's
you saw
not
that?
how it's supposed to be done. But that's how I always looked at it. Right. But then I'm like, I have a son, and boys can get crazy, right? I'm grateful as hell that my son has always been a really good kid. I never had problems with him. Both of them have never been brought home from the cops. Both of them have never had issues with the law.
Yeah, no
Both
record.
of them are real respectful. But like, that used to be my biggest fear, because me and their dad, when we did parent together, we both were on the same page. We both had the same parenting styles.
Okay.
Like, we weren't like, we loved these kids, but I think like our thing was more like, you're gonna respect us, and I think that comes with a little bit of fear instilled in them.
Absolutely.
So I tried to maintain that while we weren't together, and I tried to maintain, because then, I mean, 4 years after we separated, he passed, so there was no one that I could really call. So
right,
my biggest thing used to be like, I need this kid to know, like, I'm not playing, like, when it comes to certain things.
Right.
And so I think, like, that I probably don't agree with gentle parenting, because I think your kids have to have some kind of fear in you.
Absolutely, because I feel like not so much fear, but also it has to be a line of respect. And do you feel like I said, there's no instructions, no manual to parenting?
No, because each kid is different.
Each kid is different.
They're unique in how you have to
handle them.
Like, my son always said he didn't test his father because
he knew the deal. He knew the deal.
He's seen how his father handled his sister when
and he
she was
want no parts.
Outside, he was like, that looked like it hurt. So
he said it looked like it hurt.
So I don't know. I blessed, I guess, that
he's a humble soul.
He
he's
kept
humble.
that in the back of his brain, and he never gave me a problem.
But his demeanor also is very laid back.
So that's what I'm saying. Like, thank God, because my biggest fear used to be, he could have went in any direction. And I used to always fear, like, yo, I don't have a man in this house who's going to
be able to handle him,
who's going to help me guide him in the right direction, and, like, be outside finding him where the hell he is, and putting him straight. But then again, like, I don't see, like, I think the parenting now, it's like, I think we might have come from, like, our traumas, and I think, like, the parents now who are parenting younger kids, so it's not my generation whatsoever.
Right.
But I think they're coming from their own traumas where they want to do the complete opposite in how they parent. But I think it's now going in another direction.
Right.
So, like, then, like, the thing came, like, is it better to be feared or is it better to be loved? Like, clearly my kids love me.
And they know you love them.
And they know I love them. But it's like, my son will say, I was never scared of you, but
he never had not saying he never had a choice or never had a reason to be, but it was like he knew he didn't step the lines or cross the lines to test you.
Lines. He never tested me. And still to this day, both of them have enough respect for me, which I think is where the fear, I guess, when they were younger, because my daughter will be like, she's crazy. Like, she's crazy. She'll be like, I know not to talk to her in a certain way because she's crazy. Because, like, I don't like to be disrespected, let alone be disrespected from
a child
who I gave birth to. Like,
any child at that point.
Disrespect
but do you think, like, like I said, there's no manual or anything on, parenting, but I do witness certain scenarios. Do you think a lot of parents want to be their child's friend?
Yeah.
Instead of their parent, like, oh, I don't want them to be mad at me.
Yeah.
I don't want them to, hate me. Or
my daughter was mad at me for probably 8 years of her life.
It's a mother and daughter thing. Because let me tell you something, Doris, I came from a single parent home. My mother would tell me in a second, dead serious, even because she worked at the high school that we went to, I will punch you. She meant that with her whole heart.
Yeah, like I would say it probably started around 11 years old, and she probably started liking me a little bit when she was a little bit when she was like 16, 17, but then she still was like, I'm moving out at 18. All right, move out.
Yeah, everybody said
that.
But
she probably started understanding where I came from and why I was the way that I was with her when she was like 19, 20. And she actually they have a podcast as well.
Shout out to Unprovoked
podcast. So she had an episode last week, if I'm not mistaken, and she said, like, I used to fight my parents for how they were with me. She said, but when I look back now, I'm so grateful they were like that with me because they taught me morals. She's like, because when I see how certain people act
that she thought was norm,
she's like, it's like, you definitely weren't raised right. She's like, so I'm appreciative that my parents, instilled those things in me. And, and that feels good.
Absolutely.
Now, like, she's an adult, but like, I always was like, cause honestly, like, not that I fear my mother now, but I still have a level of respect and fear that I wouldn't speak to her in a certain way.
Because you know what? I feel like...
And if my dad was alive, for sure, I wouldn't have spoken.
Because you know why? See, that was a generation... It was a learned behavior as well. They saw you not be disrespectful to your parents. They saw you not being disrespectful to your mother. And you still have a level of respect, even if you guys agree to disagree. They know and they witness that there's a certain line that you're not going to cross.
Yeah.
So you could tell somebody until they're blue in the face, no matter who's in the household. But I feel majority of the time, kids don't listen to what you say. They listen to what you do.
No, they definitely see.
And what they see. Exactly.
You know, like, because I can sit there. It's just like a lot of things too. Like, I can sit there and be like, don't smoke, don't drink, don't do that. But if I'm like wilding in front of them and acting a damn fool,
then they're going to like lead by, you know, they're
feel like
you
be like,
by
all right,
example.
well, you smoke, you drink, you do this. Why wouldn't I do that? You know,
right.
That's like, I've really never acted other than like going to work. Like, I never really acted out of character.
Yeah.
I mean, now I'm older, but like, they're older. If I go out, I go out. But I never did stuff in front of them for them to come back to me and be like, well, you do it, or it's okay. So I think, I don't know. Like, I always wanted them to know, like, don't play with me. Mm-hmm. Like, don't play with me.
Yeah. But do you feel like also, because this is just my opinion, it's a different generation. Yes, of course. But I also believe that social media and them having so much accessibility to electronics that
100%.
That because I feel like a lot of that they're influenced by.
But I was watching something today that they call them iPad kids. Like, and that's what's being raised now, iPad kids.
Yeah.
These kids are sitting in front of an iPad because they can't sit for 15 minutes without having
a device in
front of them. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Because you are setting these people up, these kids up for failure.
And also too, I feel like also, because I see it with Jacob, you know what I mean? And it's like they get so into the game and into this that they act like they can't function, can't listen or do anything. And it's like, wow, like literally these devices took over.
Well, they say there's subliminal messages in all of these things that they're doing. And it's like, I'm happy I did not, like, the most my kids had, I mean, they had like Xbox, like JoJo
like
had
Nintendo
Xbox,
and all that stuff.
They had like portable DVD players. I think like JoJo had more devices,
but it wasn't as excessive.
Like, he had PSP,
yeah,
but it wasn't like
as excessive
like
now.
Those, like, you couldn't travel without them. Like, you couldn't go out without them. You couldn't do all of that without them. And there's like no social. These kids have zero social.
That's
skills.
what I was gonna say. Like, and zero. Also too, you do not see a kid walking without either headphones, a cell phone, an iPad.
But like even the work in school is all done on these iPads.
Yeah, and there's
no books, there's no
everything is on the Chromebook.
Done on this Chromebook. Like
not even writing anymore.
And writing is going to be like
it's going to be extinct soon because they don't even do cursive anymore in the school. And I'm like, how are they supposed to sign checks? How are they supposed to grow up and sign contracts? We're just going to write them in
like we
print?
had I was busy, very, very busy this weekend. And Friday, and it was insanely busy. So there was a woman that came in, was picking up 2 slices, you know, probably my age group, because she had 2 kids the same age as my kids, and then she had a 4-year-old.
Whoa.
Yeah, I was like, girl. I said, better you than me. But there was kids walking past her cursing, and they had to be like 13, 14,
no regard.
15 years old, cursing. And she was like, hey. She's like, you know what? Let me not say anything because you can't even say anything.
Yeah, they'll curse you out.
I said, don't worry about it because I'll say that I don't care.
Period.
I'm like, hey, like you can't talk like that.
Have
like,
some respect.
I'm like, have respect.
But that's the whole thing. That's why I said the generation is so different because of the fact that, you know, of course, as a kid, you know, you say little things or you behave a certain way behind, you know, when your parents are not around. But I feel like even in my generation, it was such a level of respect that you would never curse in front of an adult.
I curse in front of my mother now, like as I became an adult, but like not cursing at her, like
but just using curse words in a sentence.
I'll never forget. I never got hit, but girl, I was 16. The crazy part is I'll never forget this because I really never got hit. But I was 16. My dad had just passed, maybe like a year or whatever. And my dad was crazy strict with so many, like I wasn't allowed to wear makeup. I wasn't allowed to clearly date. I wasn't allowed to really do anything. And he passed when I was 15.
Okay.
So I had to be around 16. And I was in my room on the phone talking, and it had to be like 11 o'clock, and it was definitely a weekend. I was swearing. All of a sudden,
out of nowhere,
she came in. She smacked me in my face. I was like,
look, for what?
What was that for? She's like, you don't speak like that. We don't talk like that in this house. And I'm like, all right. So, and like, she left, whatever. And I was like stunned. I was like,
you were more shocked. It probably the impact.
I was like,
the fact that she did it hurt you more than smacked
me. I was like, I was appalled.
Look, my friend,
mind you, my brother, every other word was a curse.
For real?
What?
So she cursed because she was teaching you saying,
I was
ladies,
a girl.
Look, ladies don't speak like that.
I was a female and females don't curse. And I'm like, but my brother like would curse up like a sailor.
Let me ask you, do you feel, because I feel I could definitely say this with my mother. Do you feel like grandparents are softer to their grandchildren than what they were with their children?
For sure, because they say it's a different
type of love.
No, they don't. It's not a different type of love. I think how I've seen it explained is when you're a parent, you're too wrapped up in the parent process of making sure your kids are doing the right thing. You're working, you're trying to pay bills, you're guiding them. Yeah. You're very caught up in your life. As a grandparent, those aren't fully your response. Yeah, like you enjoy what you didn't enjoy with your kids. So it's kind of like seeing your kids grow up, but like having like the better part of them.
And you could send them home.
And you can send them home.
You could send them home.
Like my mom is completely different with my kids, but she'll still
straighten them out. She will.
My mom thinks my kids are her kids. She'll like try and overrule me when, especially
that's how my grandmother was
when they were younger. If I would, especially Gab, if she was punished, she would just let her do whatever we punished her from. And it was like,
and I guess you'll be back on punishment when your mother get home.
And she said, well, you punished her. I didn't punish her.
And was serious.
So but my daughter swears a lot and she'll still yell at her. Like,
she'll be like, Gabrielle.
Like she doesn't like it. And my son, I pretty much have never heard him swear.
For real?
He don't swear in front of me.
That is so wonderful.
He doesn't swear in front of me. He doesn't speak in certain ways in front of me. Like he's very, 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 like, I'm sure he swears, like, but he
not in front of certain things.
Yeah, like he doesn't really speak to me in certain ways. He's got a different level of, I don't know. Like me and my daughter, like that whole friends thing. Mm-hmm. Me and Gabriella are friends. Like, she's like one of my best friends. Like, because we grew up together.
Absolutely.
But there's still a level of respect.
Yeah, and I feel like also now that she's older.
Like, we're not just friends. Like, if she's still doing something stupid that I don't agree with, I'll be like, what the hell are you doing?
Right.
Like,
but you guys at the age, you have the age difference also now that you can enjoy her. You know what I mean? You guys hang out. You guys have so much in common. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? So it's like a comfort, even with JoJo as well. You know what I mean? Now that they're adults and stuff like that. But I feel like, God rest her soul. My mom was so strict because my mother had to be the mother and the father. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? And then.
But that's what I'm saying. Like, I don't like. When there's a single parent household and a 2-person household, I definitely think there's a difference. Because like they say that single moms raise boys that end up in jail.
That's a lie, because I know people who had two-parent households. That's why I said all that stigma about, you're raised by a single parent, you'll get pregnant early. I know people who got pregnant early with both parents in the house.
Yeah,
and I know people who went to jail with both parents. So I'm like, you know what?
Yeah, I definitely.
One has nothing to do with the other.
I think what happens with that whole stigma of single moms
with
their
TV?
Sons. No, they're single moms with their sons because I feel a lot of women make their son their like partner.
Emotional husband.
Yeah.
Say it again, friend.
Like, and I never did that. Like, I didn't care if I was with their father, not with their father, with someone else, not with someone else. My son is my son.
And you never allowed your kids to feel like you were a burden to them.
My kids needed to like
worry about you.
Worry about me.
Yeah.
My job is to worry about them and make sure they're straight. I never wanted my son to feel like, you know, I always will play with him, like when I need him to fix something, especially electronics.
Oh, he's the GOAT with that.
Make my TV not work. I'll be like, JoJo, I don't know what I did. The remote's not working. JoJo, I don't know what I did.
And he'll know exactly what to do.
And he'll be like, oh my God, Mom, unplug it. I'll be like, JoJo, come and fix it. What do you think I had a boy for? I'll always be like, what do you think I had a boy for?
Yeah, but I get what you're saying.
But like, I never.
You're not excessive.
Till this day, he says to me, and he's like a mama's boy because he was always close to me.
Of course.
But he's not like a mama's boy where I crutched him.
No.
But he always, like, he'll always say to me, my only goal is to make sure I take care of you. And I'm like, that isn't, like, I don't want that to be your goal.
Right.
I'm good. Like,
but you know what? I think
I want you to live your life the way that you want to live it and not worry about if I'm good.
Friend, I think that is part of his life. That is one of his goals. Yeah. Whether, not saying that you put him in a position where you have to be taken care of. No, but I think that's one of his life goals, as to reciprocate everything that you have done for him. He see the sacrifices you made. You see everything that you've gone through. So I feel like he wants to reward you in his way. Yeah. To say thank you. So look at it like that.
I do. It's like, I just never want my kids to feel they're responsible for me.
They don't.
If I'm alone, if not, I'm not alone. If like, I want my kids to make sure like they live their life. And I think where that stigma comes in with their mother and their sons is they baby their sons.
Yes.
And they push the daughters to be independent because they are. And I pushed both my kids to be independent. I don't want my daughter to ever have to rely on someone, although I want her to have a man in her life that can take care of her. But I always want to make sure that my daughter can take care of herself.
Yeah, but
whether that man is there today or tomorrow or next year or 20 years down the road, she needs to make sure she can take care of her. The same way my son needs to make sure he can take care of himself and a family, if that's what that's the path that he chooses. Not take care of me, not worry about me.
Yeah.
And I think we as single moms sometimes baby our sons so much that it crutches them. It crutches them. And like, I don't think there's anything worse than crutching your kid, let alone your son.
Because it limits, I think, either son or daughter, because I feel like it leaves them dependent on someone always. You know what I mean? And then also too, like you said, you never want your kids to worry about you. I think kids who were placed in that position grow up with resentment to the parent.
Of course.
Because it's like, okay, I'm the child, even if I'm an adult.
Right.
But you put me in a position where I have to worry about you. I'm telling you, that child ends up as an adult resenting the parent. Yeah, because they look at it like, okay, you were supposed to do this for me. You're supposed to do that for me. You're supposed to do this. But why am I worrying about you when you should be okay and on your feet and moving and make sure whether I'm grown or not? So look, that's a trigger for me, friend.
Yeah, I definitely think, I think that's where single moms fail their sons.
But I feel like sometimes, friend, that's the whole thing. I think that's just a stigma as well, because it's not all single mothers.
No, it's not all single moms, but it's women who don't have that strong male presence in their life, and they kind of like latch on to their son.
And also too, I feel like also as a parent, yes, it could be also with not the strong male figure, but also too not having a life for themselves.
Well, I mean, yeah,
you get what I'm trying to say, because some people feel like, you know, oh, I raised you, you owe me.
Yeah, like I don't have that mentality.
Yeah, it's a mindset. It is a mindset.
Like, my kids don't owe me. I chose to have them.
Right.
I chose to give them life. I chose to raise them and bring them into this world.
Right.
But what they do owe me is to
respect
me, and have a good life, because I made sure I sacrificed to do that. Like, don't be a bum. Don't be in the streets. Don't be doing stuff that you know you shouldn't be doing.
Absolutely.
But that's the only thing that you owe me.
Yeah, and I feel like that's the most rewarding thing, is to see your children succeed.
Of course.
To see your children become great people, respectful people, people that have heart of compassion. You know, people, I think nowadays, they harp on, which is good, you know, don't throw stones at me, but, oh, you got to have this degree and you got to have this job. But what type of character do they have? What type of personality
that's
do they
definitely
have?
something where it's been pushed because, like, you got to go to school, you got to make good money, you have to have a good job, this and that. Like, listen, I got a college degree. I have my bachelor's degree. I chose to have one. No one forced me to get one. I wanted to get one, and regardless if I was using it or not, I chose that path, right?
That's what you wanted.
Neither one of my kids chose to go to college. Now, my son, last week, springs on me that he's eventually, in his travels of life, once he's done everything he wants to do, he's going to go back to school. He's going to go to college so he can give me his degree. I said, okay, because high school... He was like, let me just get my GED. And I'm like, no, you're going to get your high school diploma.
And it sucked. COVID hit.
When this kid got his high school diploma, he handed it to me. And he said, I did this for you. I said, I'll take it. I'll take it. Yeah. Ain't no way I was making you get a GED.
Absolutely not, because he has so much potential. But I feel like
you need social interaction. You need to be in school. You need to
be around different diverse people,
diversity. You needed to be in school.
Yeah, but I also feel like that's the thing where, like I said, I'm not knocking education and stuff like that. I'm not whatsoever. I don't have a college degree at this particular point. But shout out to whoever who have bachelor's, doctorate, all of that. That is amazing. And but I feel like a lot of the times people harp on, oh, you got to have a education, or you got to have this degree, this. But my thing is, yes, but not everyone who has a degree is not successful. You know what I mean? Right. And I feel like too, on top of that, yes, you can have the biggest house, you can have the highest degree, but how are you treating people? How is your character? How is your heart of compassion? What will you do when someone is less fortunate? You know what I mean? And I feel like when you raising children and you raise children with compassion and respect, that is a reward within itself.
For sure. For sure. That's why, when he said that, I'm going to go for you, because I know that I said, okay, I
got a question. Look, we throwing him a graduation party because I'm ready.
I'm like, okay, I'll take it. But then we were talking yesterday in regards to this degree. My nephew has a great job. He got his bachelor's from Seton Hall. He's now doing his master's. He has a great job. He makes great money. But he said the same thing. College, he's like, although I went to college, he's like, it's not for everyone. And you don't need, if you don't need it unless that's what you're going to school for, is what you want to do. Because if it's not, you don't need
and
that.
And then on top of that, even if it's something that you want to do, it's not a guarantee that you'll be in a position.
all the time, my son is super smart.
Yes, he is.
And he's smart without any college degree. High school, he passed because, he was given no choice. But he's super smart. My daughter too. She's super smart in what they like to do.
Their passion,
So rock with it.
Yeah.
Did they bring me a degree home? No, I don't really care.
But you know what?
They feel they're less than because they didn't bring me a degree home.
But you know what? Just seeing them win and seeing them be successful is a wonderful thing. And it's getting back to what you were saying about gentle parenting and stuff like that. It's you could do all the right things, or you could think that you're doing all the right things, but you really don't know until these kids grow up and they're into the real world.
You don't know.
And it's it's a gamble, but all you have to do, and you could rest assured, is you did your best.
Yeah.
There's no instructions. There's no manuals in parenting. And, like I say to myself, I talk about it all the time. I have 3 kids, but the main goal that what I want to do is the things that I'm learning late, I want to teach them early. You know what I mean?
But, okay, here's another thing. I think we all want to do that. But how did you learn it? From going through it.
Yeah, experience.
It's experience taught you that. So without the experience, would it have been better if I listened to my mother when she told me certain things? Hell yeah.
Girl, you and me both.
Hell yeah.
But sometimes we had to learn I
picked my path. I picked how I wanted to do it.
Right.
And it taught me a lot of hard lessons.
But you know what? It taught you hard lessons, but the experience that you have received from those lessons, you could teach or educate and enlighten your kids without them going through the hard lessons.
Yeah, and which I've tried. You know, like I always pushed, even with my daughter, like, Gabriella, don't have kids. Like, as much as having kids young is nice, because like you
grow up together,
but do not rush that part of your life. Like, don't rush just to be with someone. Don't rush just to have a kid.
Yeah.
Don't rush.
Enjoy your life
because you want to be a parent. Because that's like
your life stops.
Of your life, like that's like a long commitment that you have.
It's a lifetime commitment, and also too because you and I both gave birth to our firstborn.
Then what?
Yeah, we gave birth to our firstborn the same age. And like you said, in your 20s, you were being a parent. You know,
being a parent in my 20s or being a parent in my 30s.
Yeah.
I don't know who, you know, again, like this is conversations that I have with my daughter all the time. Like, I'm like, you have to understand, like, I woke up in my 40s having zero clue of who I am.
Yeah, we all.
Because at like 22, when I had you, like, I thought that was just the best thing in the world, just to be a mom and be a wife and you know, we worked and that's it. Like that was it.
That was it. But you didn't know yourself outside of that.
But like, I didn't even know who I was.
What? Look, say it
like,
again.
I didn't even know who I was. And like
you
that whole going out, that whole partying thing.
It was foreign.
I never did it. And like, and that's not even what I missed. I miss not like figuring out myself.
Yeah.
You know, like going on trips with yourself, or like go, you know, exploring life without feeling like your life is nothing because you don't have a partner.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the one thing that I definitely can say was like a hard lesson to learn.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I was in 2 long ass relationships that
why you ain't
like
whisper that one that time,
25
friend?
years of my life.
Yeah.
And to wake up one day and be like, all right, who am I outside of being in a relationship?
But you know what? Also, too, I feel like with life, being a wife, being a mom, being a owner of a business, you were so many avenues needed you. You know what I mean? Like me, I was a caretaker. I was a mom. I'm doing this. I'm doing that. That literally, I didn't even know what I liked.
Right. You don't even know
a simple question. And then it's like now, you know, I'm pushing 40 and now I'm realizing like, okay, what I want out of life, where I want to go, what I want to do. My kids are now a little bit older. Like my oldest will be 16, but I honestly believe that it's part of a journey, even though it may not be the journey that we choose. I think the book was already written.
Yeah, I mean, the book was written, but I think there was different versions, different versions of that book. It's based off of our choices.
Yeah, true.
Which is the version that we went with.
Right.
But
do you think
one different choice would have changed the whole trajectory?
Do you think because the one choice or whatever area it is, do you feel like life would have been different, or do you feel like you're right where you're supposed to be? Not even if you don't agree with where you are, do you think that it's basically how it's supposed to play out?
I don't know.
I think so. Well, this is just my opinion. I feel like, you know, we could always say like, you know, I should have did this or I should have did that.
I think we get signs that things are not a good idea, but we go against them because we want to choose
our own fleshly desires
to choose.
True.
And I think the way God wrote the book and the way that we choose to live it are very different.
But I read a quote
because I think like God puts these things in front of you and it's like you're choosing your path. Mm-hmm. So like, okay, he's like, okay, so you got A, B, C, and D.
Right.
Like, pick your path. And it's on us to, you know, but I think there's like that inner being that's telling you like, I don't know if this is right, but it's like you disregard that. So he's like, all right, you're picking C. All right. So this is what the lessons that came with C. These were the lessons that came with B. These are the lessons that came with D. I think like how
so you think it's different paths and you think that we choose what path? See, I feel a little bit different like that. I feel like as, you know, people, I feel like we have a blueprint of how our life is supposed to be or how we want our life to be.
I think the only blueprint there is like when you're born and when you die.
With the dates?
The dates.
Yeah.
I think the rest, God gives you options. God gives you abundance. We live in an abundant we live in an abundant world. There's abundance literally everywhere. Mm-hmm. So here's an abundance of options. So pick one, and there's lessons that are attached to that option, and that's the one that like we're going on.
See, I feel a little different. I feel like even though we may not be satisfied in certain areas, or you think like things are supposed to be different, I feel like we are exactly where God wants us to be, even if we don't agree with it. I feel like also the reason why I feel that way is because there's certain things that God wants to build within us through those experiences.
Yeah, no, because like look at an addict's life. Is that where they want to be?
No, absolutely not. But you got to look at this.
Is that what God wanted for them?
No, but you got to look at the backstory, because like I tell people all the time, and I cannot, one thing I cannot stand is when people look down on another person, because I feel like everyone has a story. You don't wake up one day and say, hey, I want to be on drugs, or hey, I want to be homeless. You have to look at what happened in that person's life, or think about, even if you don't know the person, something happened to get them to where they are. No one in the world wakes up and says, oh, I want to be addicted to drugs, or I want to be an alcoholic, or I want to be homeless. No, but I think
sometimes it doesn't even start like that. Sometimes it just starts with like, this is going to be fun, and fun turns into a bad idea.
Because I feel like I don't know, but sometimes I feel like, it's to numb a part of reality. I think a coping mechanism.
Yes, I think a coping mechanism starts developing once it crosses a line. Like, do I think like some people don't start for that? Yeah, they do. But I think a lot of it is, it's fun. Like, everyone's doing it.
Yeah.
You're out together. The problem is how my body reacts to it
and how your body reacts to it. It's totally different.
So like, we're both doing the same thing, and it might be fun. Hey, we're having a drink here, and then a year later, that person was able to put down that drink, never looked back to it, and now you can't.
But you know what? I feel like addiction is addiction. You know what I mean? Whether it's like, drugs, whether it's alcohol, whether it's eating, you're trying to cope with something. You know what I'm trying to say?
I think that's part of it, but I think that's where the emotional part comes in.
Yes, of course.
Because it's also physical. Now your body, but it's the same thing with anything.
Right.
Like, there's people who drink soda, and who stop drinking soda, their body gets so many adverse reactions. Why?
She's talking about me, y'all.
Like, why?
She's talking about me, the RC Cola and the Pepsi.
Your body is now used to something.
She's talking about me, but she forgot the pieces of ice too.
You're not technically emotionally drinking that soda, but your body's physically craving it.
Yeah, because you're, like you said, you become immune to it.
Like, I think a lot of it for like addiction and the emotional part of it is like your first 7 years of life is when you develop all these belief systems, right? You don't have any control over that prior to your 7 years of life. People who have control over it is your caretakers, who's around you, whatever. So
your environment.
Now your beliefs form. Now your beliefs are formed from adults that are around you. So, like, I think that's where the emotional part of it, but like half of us don't even know what our subconscious beliefs are. Like, you have to figure those out. Like, you got to work
deep,
on that.
because let me tell you something. I'm learning that. Like, I didn't know much about like the subconscious beliefs and stuff like that.
Which is, what the crazy thing is, I heard, I was listening to a pod today, and it was about subconscious and conscious beliefs. Do you realize when people have now your subconscious beliefs are so embedded in you that your body just responds to it naturally,
and not unknowingly. Sometimes
people with Alzheimer's lose their conscious brain. They don't lose their subconscious brain.
Stop, elaborate, because I want to hear this.
Subconscious brain, think about it. They think they're young, right? They remember things from childhood.
Yes.
They remember things from back in the day.
Years, decades.
Because your subconscious physically is what makes you who you are. But they're so deep embedded that you have zero idea that because most of us are just going on autopilot of them. So your conscious brain is your short-term memory.
Okay.
Your subconscious brain
is
your long-term memory. We don't even know what some of that is. So that's why with people with Alzheimer's, dementia. They lose their conscious brain.
The short term, that's why the short term goes so fast.
Their long term, their subconscious beliefs that they formed when they were younger, that they don't even know why they're that's what they run on.
It makes all
when
of
I
the
heard that,
perfect
I said,
sense.
wow, because I'm very into reprogramming like your subconscious thoughts, right? And the only way to reprogram your subconscious thoughts is by constantly affirming the opposite of what you think, right? And eventually you reprogram it, but it takes time, like, and you have to be like diligent with it. You have to be like very on top of it. Girl. You have to be on, like, you know, we all have like these subconscious beliefs of not being adequate, not being good enough, whatever our subconscious beliefs are. But like you have to kind of always like flip that thought and
say,
like,
I am good enough.
Like reaffirm
I am
it.
Smart.
But when I heard that, I said, wow, that makes so much sense. Because if you technically did not pay attention to your subconscious beliefs and just think the classic phrase of, well, that's just the way that I am. Well, and it's not just the way that you are. It's just you're on autopilot based off of these belief systems that you were handed as a kid and you had no idea. So like up until, I think it's like from birth to 7 years old is when your subconscious thoughts
I heard of
and
that.
beliefs get created.
Right.
But think about it. This is, and it's apparent in people who have Alzheimer's. Like now your conscious thoughts no longer exist, but your subconscious thoughts, that's why like some of them forget to eat because subconsciously you're not remembering to eat. You're just having like, you're running on an autopilot.
It makes
program.
so much sense. I'm dealing with a family member now that has dementia. And let me tell you something. It's a lot because I share stories. But what you're saying to me gives me a better understanding with these person's behavior.
They are running off of autopilot beliefs that
they
don't even know that they have.
Yeah.
Because it's
that
not
makes
their
a lot of sense.
Conscious thoughts. Like your conscious thoughts.
It's embedded and it makes a lot of sense because now she's going back decades from now.
Yeah, because these are old belief systems.
Right.
That are automatically, they're just
triggers.
Playing. They're just playing.
Yeah.
And they're just playing on repeat and on a loop without even having any acknowledgement.
Wow, but you know what? That makes a lot of sense. And it's crazy that you were talking about your subconscious. In my opinion, I feel like that is one of the hardest things to reprogram.
It is because what happens is okay, so this is showing my degree.
Go ahead, use that degree, friend. I got a smart friend.
This so you guys know.
I got a smart friend.
Basically, your subconscious beliefs are formed to protect you.
Okay, I can see that.
So when your subconscious beliefs are being like challenged, it feels it needs to protect you. So when a trigger happens, right, those beliefs come up again, and it's in your brain that it's protecting you.
You know what? It's so amazing.
Not protecting you, but you believe it to be true because you form those beliefs by protecting yourself. So like your body and your brain, your mind is insanely powerful.
It is.
But so any trigger that's going to trigger a subconscious belief that you hold about yourself is being triggered because now your body feels like it's in danger.
And you have to, you have to protect yourself. That's so powerful. And like I said, I don't believe in coincidences. I needed to hear that because I was earlier in an environment which used to be very triggering to me. And like it gave me so much anxiety because like you said, the subconscious was taken over. Yeah. Like, oh, you're going to feel this way, that way, because not realizing it wasn't the action triggered what was already existing. So I've been, doing like the shadow work book, and I'm reading a lot about like the subconscious and stuff like that. And now that I'm aware of certain things, I have to, like you said, speak against it. And it's so amazing because of the fact that, you know, I was in an environment that was very triggering to me at one point, very triggering because, like you said, the things that I felt and was embedded in me, it would come to surface. So, you know, I was in this environment today and I'm like, okay. And it was the same people, but my response to them were totally different. You get what I'm saying? So it was like, okay, it may still be the same behavior, same things, but I couldn't change that. But I was able to change how I responded and where my mind took me. You get what I'm saying? So that's powerful, friend.
Well, yeah, your mind is like incredibly powerful. And like we play with like, you know what it is? It's a lot of like new age, what do they call it? Like woo-woo thinking. But technically, like this is how our mind is made up. It's like made of your conscious and your subconscious thoughts. It's just your conscious is what you're aware of.
Yeah. Subconscious is what you're not aware of.
Subconscious is what you're not
what you
aware
bury.
of because they were formed to protect you. Wow. So you form them when things were consciously happening to you.
Yeah.
So now these became subconscious beliefs, and so when something is in the environment that's triggering that for whatever reason,
right,
that's when your subconscious comes in to protect you,
right, and you respond,
and your
because
response
of your subconscious
is the way that you would have responded, you know,
that makes a lot
when
of
you
sense.
were, you know, feeling like you were being attacked or whatever
Yeah,
the
yeah,
case
yeah.
was.
You know what? I'm gonna go home and write in my journal because that, you know, I just got a free lesson. I told you my friend
How
was
we
smart.
went from being feared or loved to your conscious and subconscious beliefs, I don't know.
But this is how we flow, though.
But this is where we're at right now. So just for all those who think I just make pizza, I don't.
Look, that's a whole lie, and she baked too.
I don't just make pizza. I like to educate myself on the mind.
No, but it's a powerful thing. And then when you start reading about things and then you start reflecting on it, it's like, wow.
Because, you know, and that's when, and again, that's where we have to take responsibility for ourselves. Like,
Word.
That's when we have to take responsibility for our actions and how, like, I can teach, you know, like, I did my part with my kids.
Right.
Like, I did the best that I could with what I knew at the time.
You set the foundation for them.
You know, like, I did the best that I could. I planted the seed.
Right.
And I could only hope that they continue to grow the way that they're supposed to grow.
And right, exactly. And, you know,
and I'm sure I
labors.
created subconscious beliefs in both of them that need to probably be reprogrammed.
But it's fine.
It came from my own triggers,
right.
my own beliefs
fears.
and my own fears and everything else. Yeah. And so, yeah, but you know, as long as they hold themselves responsible and accountable, but that's the thing. Like, I never wanted to crutch them.
No.
So, and I feel, you know, and again, don't come at me. And this is just my opinion. I feel that whole gentle parenting, you're crutching these kids.
Yeah.
You're not even like trying to bubble these kids in like protecting them from everything that's going to happen or not seeing certain things and not being around or not experiencing things. Because like we want to bubble them because you don't want them to feel any hurt or discomfort or pain or anything else. You're crutching them because life is going to give them situations that they're not thrilled about.
Be in the control of.
But I think us parents want to bubble these kids so much that you're not letting them trust themselves that they can handle situations.
Yeah.
Like every parent wants to come in, go to the school, curse the teacher out because their kid got in trouble.
But not even that. If you know your kid, then
ask my kids. Anyone who knows my kids, have my kids come home, tell me that the teacher did this, the teacher didn't put the. I'd be like,
what did you do?
What did you do? And I don't care. Do your damn shit. Do what needs to be done. I never was like, I'm going to school and I'm going to write an email or I'm going to no. Deal with it. Because when you're working for someone.
What, you want me to go talk to the boss?
You want me to go talk to your boss for you?
Nope.
Like, nah.
Ain't happening.
You might not agree with your boss, but you know what?
You got to listen
He's your
to
boss.
him.
They're your boss.
Amen.
And that's your problem. You're going to have to figure out how you're going to deal with that.
Right.
So for me, like, I never was that parent because, first of all, my dad was a teacher. So we could have came home and said anything. And even if we was 100% right, my dad would be like, the teacher. What did you guys do? Like, the teacher's never wrong. Like, what? Mm-hmm. But that was how we had to deal with it. And that's it. So I kind of was the same. Like, I never went off on a teacher for doing their job. Right. And like, I did that whole gentle parenting. Like, nah, you're going to deal with it.
I salute
figure
all
it
teachers.
out. Like,
I salute them.
Figure it out. Figure, like, you know, situations out. Because if I'm crutching you, I'm not giving you enough, like, reassurance in yourself, confidence in yourself that you can handle a situation.
Right.
Like, even now, my kids are grown. And when I know they're going through stuff, only thing I'll say to them is, well, do you want my help? Like, do you want me to help you? Mm-hmm. Do you want my advice? Do you want my help? Or do you want me to just listen to you? And I'll take it from there.
Right.
Because I don't want to crutch them. Like, I can't crutch you. Because if I'm crutching you, like, and I'm not doing you a service. I'm doing you a disservice. Because life is unforeseen and real. Going to give you situations. And, like, my kids have been through a lot of situations that I wish they didn't have to go through, but they experienced a lot of loss in their life. They experienced a lot of sadness in their life. They experienced a lot of, like, traumatic situations in their life. And, like, it's unfortunate that at that young age that they had to experience very traumatic situations, but at the same time, I didn't coddle them. Like, the same time, like, anytime my daughter was going through certain things, I'll be like, all right, you done crying? Like, you done crying? So how we what are you gonna do next? What are you gonna do
What's
now?
next?
Like, so again, like, that's where I think my parenting isn't from a place, like, clearly I love my kids, but it's
you just
not
show tough love.
Like, it's more like, okay, so how are you handling this? What are you doing?
Right.
Like, maybe our situation, like, our split up and whatever wasn't what they wanted, but okay, this is what life is giving you. So how are we, like, we're going to deal with this, and we're going to keep moving forward, and we're going to keep pushing forward, and we're not going to, you know, go off the deep end because life isn't how what you thought it was going to be.
I understand.
And I think that's where parents are missing the mark right now. Like, you're coddling your kids when they don't need to be coddled. And, like, yeah, comes a point where, yeah, you're going to, you know, you want them to feel better. But, like, where are you drawing the line?
Yeah.
Like, where are you drawing the line?
Yeah, I feel like that. I felt like I was enabling Justin.
Like, I wanted to do that to my son tremendously when he was 12 and he experienced a traumatic experience. But then I said to myself, I'm not doing him a favor by doing that.
Right.
I'm going to make him, like, I can't coddle him. I can't make him weak because that's not going to help him.
Right. I understand.
Like, that's not helping him.
Yeah.
Like, as much as I wanted to bubble him up, put him in, like, you know, like,
bubble wrap,
wish he never experienced what he experienced, and brainwashed him where he didn't see that. Like, it wasn't happening.
Yeah, I get it.
Like, God gave him that situation for a reason.
A reason and a purpose.
And I don't know what it is. I always felt like it was going to resurface at some point. And if it does, and when it does, like, I'll have to face that. But I definitely didn't want to, like, bubble him because I felt like that was doing his disservice. I wasn't being the mom that I needed to be.
I understand.
So I think, like, that whole, like, loving your kids to death, I think that's smothering your kids to death. I don't think it's loving your kids to death. Like, I think you're smothering.
What, love and affection, friend, hugs and kisses?
No, not that. Like, you can be loving and affection. Like, I'm not, you know, if that's how you choose to be, like, that's how you choose. Like, I'm not really that way, but that doesn't mean, again, I don't love my kid.
Right, of course.
Or whatever.
Everyone loves differently.
But I feel like some people smother in love. Like, they love them. They think they love them so much that they want to, like, protect, like, and shield them. But, like, you're not loving them for them to be, you know, strong and on their own. Like you can't do that.
Yeah.
You can't do that. Like I would have loved to do that millions of times with these kids, like protect them and shield them.
Right.
But was I really doing them a service? No, I don't feel that. And I feel like today parenting, like they let these kids take these temper tantrums and like you're going to talk them through it. They're, like what are you talking through? Like, what is it that you're talking through?
And they're young doing that.
They're young doing that. So basically, you think you're going to start stamping your feet in the middle of a damn story.
What are you going to do at 18?
When they're beating your ass.
And cursing you out.
Like,
No, ma'am.
Yeah, that's not happening.
At all.
So, I don't know. That's my thoughts on gentle parenting.
Oh, yeah.
And that's my thoughts on fear and love. And that's my thoughts on those subjects.
Yes.
I am a little rough. I'm not going to deny that. I do come off a little rough. Like, I love them, but I don't come off like...
But her heart is in the right place.
Yeah, like I've sacrificed. I did for them. I made sure that they were straight. I always protected them as much as I could.
Right.
But...
like I said, there's no instructions or manual being a parent, you know? You just try to do better each day.
Yeah, that's not... That is one of the toughest jobs.
It is the toughest job.
I salute you parents. I salute you single moms, stay-at-home moms. I salute, single dads, stay-at-home dads, like couples, parents together, not together. It's not easy.
Parenting is just what it is, parenting.
Easy,
and then the hardest thing is I read a quote that said, sometimes the hardest job is parenting yourself and your children at the same time, because we're actually reparenting our ways.
Yeah, of course, because we're coming from our own traumas.
It's hard out here in these streets.
Our own hurts, our own, beliefs, our own betrayals, our own everything.
Yeah. So you're literally reprogramming yourself while you're parenting. But you know what? We're gonna be all right. we're gonna be straight.
So, questions, comments, put them.
And she didn't put topic. She didn't say subject or topic. Go ahead, friend.
One.
Proud of my friend.
I didn't say either one, because we had this conversation this weekend over this gentle parenting, and then someone was talking about fear and love, and I'm like,
it's a good one.
I was hearing like this little boy throwing things at the parent because they believe gentle parent. I said, throwing things at there.
I think, listen, how ghetto I am, I would have thrown back at him.
Throwing things.
Oh, we playing dodgeball? Come on.
Ooh, I was like, So, and that's it. But thank you. Much love.
Yes.
Comments, follow, subscribe.
Yes.
Comment, share. Do all of those lovely things.
Yes.
They're much appreciated.
Yes.
Appreciated.
Word.
I just made up a new word.
Thank you, y'all. Until next time.
Bye.